Hi, I'm Dustin Abbott from Dustin Abbott channel, and this is
Craig from letthelightin.
And we're here for another collaboration today. This is going to be of the Sirui Astra 50mm T1.8. The Astra is a new series from Sirui that continues in their tradition of anamorphic lenses, but in this case, it is not only an autofocus lens, it is also designed for the full frame image circle, which is a progression of what we've seen in the past.
Yes, now starting out, they sent us a couple years ago, fully manual 35mm anamorphic lens. This was covering the Super 35 format, quite a tiny barrel and a handy little lens at the time. However, they've continued to progress and we are certainly thankful for it. Moving on to the 40mm, we also reviewed the 20mm at the time covering the APS-C format. And this brought autofocus to their anamorphic series. Now the 40mm, you could kind of get away with using it on a full frame lens. The 20 had to stay with the APS-C. It wasn't able to kind of cheat it a little bit. But now, finally with the 50mm Astra series that we are reviewing here today, we've got the full frame autofocus anamorphic lens, which we are certainly excited to see.
Yeah. And all three of these have that constant 1.33 times squeeze. Actually, the first one that we reviewed was an even wider. It was a 1.66.
Yes.
1.66 anamorphic squeeze, but now these are constant 1.33 times, and we've got a 50mm, 75mm, and 100mm T1.8 lenses. We're actually testing the 50mm and actually filming on it at the moment, so throughout this review, in some of these sections, you're going to see that nice wide anamorphic look, which is really what this series is all about. So we'll jump in a moment into the build quality, we'll cover the autofocus, we'll take a look at the optical quality, and show you some sample footage, and at the end, Craig and I are going to circle back together and give you our thoughts as to whether or not this is a lens worth considering. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at the build and handling. All right, let's take a closer look at what you are getting here. This new Astra series comes in 3 different lens mounts. I'm reviewing the Sony E mount version here, but you can also get it in L mount and in Z mount for Nikon. You have the option of either going with the neutral or blue streak as far as the look for the flare. Focal lengths come 50mm, 75mm, and 100mm. I'm reviewing the 50mm here, and all of them come with maximum aperture of 1.8, t-stop rating of 1.8 as well. On top of that, they all are similar in size with similar diameter and with the exact same setting for the gearing to make sure that you can just swap them quickly in a gearing or focus follow configuration. They're also all come with a constant 1.33 times squeeze ratio, anamorphic lenses, and they all tout that they have a uniform color signature, and so that you can swap in between the lenses and get a consistent look all across them. Price is $849 US for this lens. Now this is really a uniquely hybrid lens in that we not only have autofocus, but we have a true manual focus. And so we're talking about an actual manual focus ring with distance scale, which I really love the implementation of that, by the way. Ability to look at both feet and meters as far as the distance scale. This has, definite hard stops. It has a focus throw of 136 degrees. And so a really, really useful setup, and that 136 degrees is going to be standardized across all 3 lenses, by the way, again, for the gearing. Now, we do have the ability to have autofocus here. There is a custom or function button, and then we have a robust approach to aperture control. So there is a manual aperture ring. Again, that is set up with the teeth for gearing as well. You can set it up to smoothly rack here and back and forth for aperture racking. And then also you can do clicks with the 1/3 stop to tense, and it does have an iris lock as well. And so that will allow you to either lock into or out of the aperture ring, and so in that with that aperture iris lock off, you can go into the automatic mode and control aperture from within the camera. If you don't like aperture rings, you can lock here and not worry about it. Or if, like myself, you prefer that aperture ring, you can lock and so you don't inadvertently go into the automatic or camera-based control. Now the overall size here is 80 millimeters in diameter. That's at this ring here. And that leaves us with a 6-7 millimeter front filter thread up front. That's 3.14 inches in diameter. The length is 131 millimeters or 5.15 inches. The weight here is 620 grams or right under 22 ounces. You know, it's made of metals, very, very robustly and nicely made, and that includes a thorough weather sealing with a gasket here, internal sealing, seals throughout the lens, and a coating on the front element. And we have a USB-C port for firmware updates as well. The actual aperture iris is 11 blades here, and rather than being circular, that's designed to give you that kind of uniquely cine oval look to it. Minimum focus distance is 50 centimeters, giving us an okay but not exceptional maximum magnification. It does come with a nice setup in terms of both the box, and then it comes with an actual zippered padded case a la Sigma, which I vastly prefer to the socks that come with some other brands. And so all told, we have a really, really nice package here that, while it's not small, as you can see, it is not overly large either. And it is very, very nicely built and obviously extremely feature rich. So let's talk autofocus. And yes, it is snowing yet again. Welcome to winter in Canada. So we have an STM or stepping focus motor here. However, while that's not the most sophisticated autofocus motor out there, autofocus really does quite a good job, particularly considering that this is a hybrid, nice snow in the face there, a hybrid lens that has really fantastic manual focus, but autofocus is really solid as well. So obviously, for some of you, you're going to be using this with a focus follow type system, but if you need to use the autofocus motor, you'll see here in doing focus pulls that they happen with, good confidence, no visible steps, no pulsing or settling, but just kind of locks onto the subject going back and forth, no concerns there. Likewise, when I did my hand test, there's good transitions from my hand to my eye, back and forth, and so no issues with that. And if I approach to the camera, you can see that it tracks me fine as I come towards the camera, and if I step in and out of frame, it picks me back up with good confidence and quickness, and again, it's locking on accurately and getting autofocus to the place that it should be. And for a segment like this, where I'm in front of the camera and it is just tracking my face, you can see that it is doing so with good accuracy, and that is despite the flakes that are falling in layers in between the actual lens and my face. So really, I got nothing to complain about when it comes to autofocus here. I think that Sirui is getting increasingly confident in their autofocus performance, and even in a fully hybrid lens like this Astra, it really is doing quite a good job.
Let's talk about image quality. Starting off with its nighttime performance, of course, with a nice wide open aperture of f1.8. Opening it all the way up, you've got tons of room to bring that light in through the lens, and it pays off with a nice, clean, low light shot. And even with the lights coming in, depending on how bright those lights are and the angle towards the lens, you can get a nice little bit of amount of flaring. And you can see in this lens, we selected the blue flare option. There's also a natural neutral flare option as well. Now, as far as focus breathing goes, this lens does have focus breathing, and you can see towards the sides that whenever we're moving, there's some distortion and the edges come in a convex way, bending in slightly towards the edges of the frame. And I measured focus breathing at about a 3.5% kind of difference between minimum focus difference and infinity. Taking a look at bokeh, we can see that it's nice and circular here in the middle, and it becomes more fish scaly towards the edge. Still keeping its relatively circular shape, but just not resolving completely as you might see in an ordinary lens. So that's the character of this particular anamorphic one, is that the bokeh on the sides and the edges of the lens don't resolve completely, but they kind of get cut off there wide open, and you can see moving the aperture, and that would bring us towards aperture racking. As we change the aperture racking is very, very smooth. In fact, in this particular shot right here, we are closing down from opening up from f22 all the way to f1.8, and you can see there's just a couple minor steps through that massive complete and total change of the aperture. Sharpness and detail of the image, you can see it's got great sharpness, pulling out the material of the scarf, the jacket, even my skin, and the little bit of facial hair that I'm currently sporting right now. The sharpness and the detail of this lens was very good, and you can see, of course, as you would want and as you expect from an anamorphic lens, great subject separation from its background. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the days here in the Canadian winter were quite gray, but when the sun came out, you can see these really nice, beautiful colors being painted by this lens. And so it's got some great color resolution, rendering, and contrast. As far as chromatic aberrations go, they were slightly present whenever wide open. Overall though, I would say it's really nothing that you have to worry about. You could see it a little bit in the branches of the trees, but it wasn't anything that was distracting or destructive to the overall image that you are capturing. So you'll see it in a tiny bit, even a little bit in the bokeh, but it was very clean performance overall. So this lens has a nice autofocus, capturing your subject. I would say though, you'll find it a little bit jumpy if your autofocus setting on your camera body is set too high. So I would just recommend bringing that back to a neutral value if you've boosted it, and you'll find that autofocus becomes much more smooth, both in its acquisition and also its tracking. So just a little tip there, if you find it a little jumpy, turn down your autofocus settings within your camera body and you'll get that nice smooth autofocus transition that you're looking for in your shots.
All right, having spent some time with the lens, I have to say that I'm actually impressed with the progress that they have made. For myself, I've not actually been a huge fan of Sirui's optical glass in the past, but it really feels to me like they are moving in the right direction. And I'm really impressed by how that this lens shows less of the optical flaws that I saw in what has been previously the Super 35 lenses. So the fact that we've moved up to coverage for full frame, while improving that performance, and in this case reducing the size relative to the 40mm, which was also a T1.8 but designed for Super 35. So they've made a smaller lens, the same light transmission, same maximum aperture, except for now a full frame lens that is optically superior. Well, that's progress in the right direction.
Absolutely. And they've also worked to make a cinematic lens more cinematic. So something that kind of we had a nitpick a little bit about with the 40 and the 20 of their previous iteration is that, for example, the focus ring was just turning infinitely.
Yeah.
Now they've brought distance markers and about 120 degrees of rotation from minimum focus distance, which is 0.5 meters, all the way to infinity. So we've got distance markings, we've got locks at both ends. So we're talking about repeatable movements at that point. Yeah. If you do choose to continually use manual focus, although of course autofocus is a nice option.
Yes.
Then moving towards the aperture ring, before it had a bit of a bump at f22, quite light though. I mean, quite easy to surpass between 22 and automatic aperture. This time, what they brought in is they brought in an iris lock switch, so you can stop firmly at 22 without going over. So they've brought these improvements to the 50mm that we're talking about today, which is good improvements, making a cinematic lens more cinematic for those who continue to choose and want that just fine-tuning ability.
So it really feels like this is increasingly a truly hybrid lens, where if you want to use it like a manual lens as far as the focus or aperture, it's set up for gearing and it's actually got those physical qualities that we would look for in that. But it also has very, very effective autofocus, and autofocus does seem to be steadily improving. It's more stable, it's more accurate, and while we're still working with an SDM focus motor, it's really stepping in the right direction. And so the only, I would say, downside that you could look at is the fact that we are looking at a more expensive price tag. And so now we're looking at $849 US to purchase this lens. However, that's about a $150 markup over this previous series. But if you're shooting on a full frame camera, it's well worth that money because you're getting actually a smaller, lighter lens that's more versatile for that extra $150. And you had mentioned there's a couple of other options it's competing with where it's beating those in price. So
yeah, so it's right in the middle. I mean, there's a couple different options. One coming in at $800, one coming in at $1,000. So $50 more than the cheapest option, which by the way doesn't have autofocus.
Yes.
And this Sirui lens has the widest open aperture at f1.8. The other competition is, I believe, f2 and f2.5.
Okay. So I mean, at the end of the day, I would say, keep it up, Sirui. I'm actually really intrigued by this series, and maybe in the future we'll have an opportunity to look at some of the other focal lengths. But all told, if you are looking for a versatile hybrid style lens for shooting some cine work and you like that anamorphic look, at the moment it's hard to point towards a better option than this that kind of checks all of the boxes that the Astra series does. And so while still retaining I would say a pretty strong value. And so I really like the direction Sirui is going with their anamorphic autofocus lenses and hope to see maybe a few more focal lengths in the future since we're only starting at 50 millimeters. You got a good thing going, Sirui. Keep it up. So as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day and let the light in.